What is going on? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get your first L-sit hold. The variation we're going to be focusing on is on the parallel bars. So the first exercise we're going to do is obviously going to stretch out first, because many of the times when we go straight into the L-sit hold, our hip flexors starts cramping up, our quadriceps starts cramping up. So let's actually loosen up our hip flexors and quadriceps and also the hamstrings first. The first stretch is called the psoas quad stretch. There are two variations to this. Pretty much we're gonna set ourselves against the wall with our toes pointing away from us, and then we're gonna bring our knee kind of a few inches away from the wall. We're gonna get into the lunge position, and then we're gonna bring our back upright. So the first variation is we're gonna try and bring our back as close to the wall as possible, and this will really stretch out the hip flexors area. This is where it will isolate, and grab something if you need to. If there's a stick, if there's a sofa or an object that can help you to stabilize yourself while you're in this position, hold that, because you're gonna need it. And when we're holding this, we're gonna hold between 30 to 45 seconds and breathe into it, man. You know, inhale through your nose, exhale out of your mouth. And of course, don't forget to switch sides. And then moving on to the variation 2 of the psoas quad stretch is the forward lunging position. So we're gonna take a few steps forward. Now that our hips will travel further away from the wall, this is where you're going to really feel it a lot in the quadriceps. And you can stabilize yourself by placing your hands onto your thighs and then just holding it there. And make sure you're keeping your core tight and don't let your back arch too much. So again, hold this for about 30 to 40 seconds. And then we're going to be moving on to the next stretch is the deep runner stretch. Pretty much we're going to get into a forward lunge. Then we're going to take a few shove and nudges back with our back feet to further stretch our body out. We're going to place both our hands down into the ground and we're going to chill here for a bit. You can do reps by squeezing your glutes, squeezing your quads, hamstring, and lifting your knees off the ground to kind of warm yourself up into it. We're going to do this for about 3 to 5 reps. And then if you can, drop both elbows into the ground and you're going to feel this stretch in your hip flexors, your glutes, your lower back, and then we're going to be doing dynamic of this. So hold this, and then we're going to lift our knees up, keeping our legs straight, drop it back down, and then repeat for 5 to 10 reps. And of course we're going to do this on the other side as well, because we want balance. Up next we've got the hamstring stretch. For many of us this can be quite tough, since we, sitting down. For most of us, we sit down all day and just work on a computer if we have a sedentary job. So we've got to stretch out those hamstrings too, because this is actually what's going to cause your knees to not be able to lock out due to the lack of hamstring mobility. So a really simple one is the seated forward fold. So keeping our back straight, we're gonna be sitting on our butt, feet together, and then we're gonna try to touch our toes with our hands. Now go as far forward as you can comfortably can, and you can do dynamic first to kind of warm yourself up. So as you inhale, exhale, reach out, and then come back. Inhale, exhale, reach out, and notice that with each exhale you're able to go down deeper because you're opening yourself up more when you're breathing. So do this for about 5 reps, and then we're just going to hold the stretch position for about 30 to 45 seconds. Now that's all done. Let's work on the first progression, which is the lying leg raise. This is the most simple variation because you're going to be forced to keep your legs straight, and you're going to be working predominantly in the lower abs region. So lie on your back, hands to your sides, core pulled in towards the spine, so that way your lower back is flat, toes pointed, and we're going to lift our legs up until it is literally stacked on top of our hips, so that our body is in a right angle or 90 degrees angle, and then come down. Do not let your heels touch the ground, and point your toes, so that way you're forced to flex your hip flexors, your quads, your hamstrings, and come down 6 inches off the ground, and then repeat. Now if your lower back do arch, then you can place your hands underneath your butt to kind of lift your butt up a little bit, and this will cause your lower back to not arch. So do between 10 to 20 reps for 3 sets. Moving on to the next exercise is the seated pike lift. So this is going to work on your core compression strength. The L-sit is predominantly core compression and flexibility. So the seated pike lift is a super simple exercise to do that. So we're going to start in a seated position with our hands by our side, palm pressed down into the ground, and we're going to try to keep our back as upright as possible. We're going to be pointing both of our toes. Using our lower abs and hip flexors, we're going to lift one leg up as high as we can possibly can while keeping your knees straight, and then come back down. So we're going to do this for 10 reps. Up, down motion, and make sure that your toes are pointed away from your body, just so that you can engage your calves, hamstrings, and you'll keep your legs straight. And of course, switch side, and you can make this a little bit more harder by pausing at the top for a few seconds and then coming back down. Moving on to the next progression is the hanging leg raises. Now this is going to be a little bit harder because we're going to be using our upper body strength as well, including your grip strength, your core strength. So start in a hanging position with your hands about shoulders width apart, thumbs wrapped under and around the bar. We're going to keep our feet and knees together the entire time. Pointing our toes away from our body, we're going to raise our legs up until our quadriceps are parallel to the ground. And as we come down, we're going to slow down the eccentric phase, so the lowering phase. So you can come up fast at a count of 1 second, but as you come down, try to come down at a count of 1.5 to 2 seconds to stop yourself from swinging. A lot of people, they swing because they're not able to control both the concentric and the eccentric. So to keep yourself stable, slow down in negative. Trust me, it works. So we're going to do this between 8 to 15 reps for 3 sets. Moving on to the next progression, we have got the tuck L sit. So if you have a medium-sized parallel bars or parallettes, this is what we're going to use. So adjust it so that it's just about shoulders width apart. And as we get into it, we're going to push our shoulders down, so shrug them down so that way our shoulders are not elevated. And we're going to tuck our knees up until our quadriceps are parallel to the ground. So your torso is upright, your quadricep is parallel to the ground. We're creating this 90-degree angle, and we're just going to hold it here for 10 seconds. Really think about crunching your lower abs, keeping your core tight and pushing your shoulders down. So hold that for 10 to 15 seconds. And once you can do 15 seconds, then we're going to move on to the next progression, which is the single leg L-sit kicks. So by working on the dynamics, you're going to strengthen your muscles for the static hold. So get into the tuck L-sit position, and then we're going to kick one leg out while keeping the other leg in, and then we're just going to alternate in this flutter kick motion. So as one leg go out, one leg comes in, and then we're going to alternate. And as we kick out, point your toes, keep your shoulders shrugged down, crunch your core. You're going to feel it a lot on your triceps as well because they're isometrically engaged. So be prepared for that. And we're going to do this for 5 reps on each side. We can start off with 3 reps on each side, but the goal is to have 5 reps on each side. And once you're able to do 10 reps in total with perfectly clean form, we can move on to the next progression, which is a single leg L-sit hold. Same again, get into the tuck L-sit, kick one leg out. I'm going to start holding it for 3 seconds on each leg. So point your toes, squeeze your quads, squeeze your hamstrings, squeeze your glutes, and then we're just going to chill here for a bit and then switch sides, of course, because we want to have balance with our body. And once you're able to hold for 10 seconds on both legs of the L-sit, we're going to do full L-sit hold. So get into the tuck position, extend both legs out, and initially you may not be able to get it straight away, but as you keep working on it, your hip flexors will get stronger, your core will get stronger, and your flexibility will improve, and therefore you'll be able to hold it in a straight line. Just make sure that you're pointing your toes away from your body, keeping your shoulders shrugged down, core crunched. And if this is not feasible, then try it on the hanging variation, as this is usually more easier because it's less pressure on your triceps and you'll be using more of your grip strength, your back muscles, therefore it'll be easier. So that is it for this video, guys. Follow these exercises in this sequence and you should be good for the L-sit. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.